If you get it, you're gonna get hard punished.
Okay, so what now?
Hayabusa? I think Hayabusa would be a good
Hayabusa
choice.
and
Unless you want to go for an Amon. I think this is just out of my limb here. It's still very, very viable. You have a lot of damage, burst damage in the mid to late game as well. And you're able to control that jungle. You don't really need to be with the rest of your team because you have sort of like an escape mechanism as well.
Hayabusa and a Hilda.
A Hayabusa and a Hilda?
Oh, then it's Yoom's. It is a Yoom special.
There's already a Choa.
Yeah, there's a Hayabusa over there. And the Tigreal.
And the Tigreal.
They just want to play it safe. Just play it safe. Just want to go for a 4-1. Yeah, because with the Hayabusa, with the Fanny, you need to play 4-1. So it's always on a 4-4 clash every single time in the late game. So the Vexana is definitely getting picked up because it works very well with the Arlot and the Moskov coming in. You got Eternal Guard just being a huge wall at the front. Just to wrap up just my segment, I just want to say I think Yoodo Red Giants team is just looking very thick. It's easier to execute. Very flexible, very versatile, especially coming from the Valentina. You have the Final Slash in your possession as well. If not, the Eternal Guard would be with the IMU as well. So, I don't know. I voted for Fnatic Onic, but I think YRG has the better draft.
Same goes for me. I really like the draft of Yoodo Red Giants.
I totally understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. But unfortunately for you, Churros, we got to get you out of here. You're too biased. You're too biased to your favorite players and shaking Kyrie's head as we're heading over into the land of Dawn. Both compositions looking to make plays of their own. The question is, who punishes their opponents even more? Who can get more economy through this game as we head on over to the land of Dawn? It's going to be YRG up against FNOC in this match 1.
Okay, so for this game, we will see an assassin versus assassin. Definitely the vision of this boss fights or the tanks will be very crucial for both Sekais and Kyrie. So the problem here is that I think at least for me, it is the Hayabusa it is the Fanny rather that is much more dependent on a purple buff as compared to a Hayabusa.
Oh, really? Interesting. Because I think at the end of the day, I think purple buff is eventually going to become like a mini Lord objective for either or, right?
It's a mini game in this game.
It is a mini game, to be fair. And I think luckily for Yoodo Red Giants, with the Harith pick on Innocent, that's why you see Yooms being so close towards the bottom side of that match. They want to make sure that Innocent is in a better position and can trade more effectively. Let's look at the emblems, though.
Okay, so for the emblems, nothing very unusual actually for our players, and it's very fit for the composition of the other team. So I must say for Fnatic Onic here, they really want to go for the early game, considering that this is also a what's the term for Kiboy? This is expected for him to be very on the aggressive side.
Yeah, I was expecting Kiboy to kind of like skew the lanes very often, but that's already the Oki shadow kill coming out of Sekai's early on. He's got a level lead against Kyrie so far, but doesn't die to it, which is great for Fnatic Onic because we're only expecting Fnatic Onic to get aggressive when they hit level 4.
Yep, and for Yoodo Red Giants, they really have to give space here for Innocent. You know, since he has the Purify, there's no really hard crowd control against him. So as long as there's a nice laning for him, it will be effective for them. Although top lane, more pokes.
Oof, yeah, more pokes like you mentioned. Again, you can see that both teams are giving a lot of respect to each other. And even in the emblems, right, nothing was out of the ordinary. But then I noticed both Seed... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Getting involved in this more. Cram might be first blood here if he keeps on taking damage. But that means that they're going to... Cram is a little chunked out for this upcoming turtle fight. But they do hit 4 on time. Kiboy now in some trouble here as Sekai's wants to take him out. Kiboy tries to flicker in to spread out that damage. Unlucky RNG. That's first blood for Sekai's.
And that's a good thing because there's a turtle already. Kiboy won't be in the position as early as possible to give vision to Yoodo Red Giants. And it's very effective, the usage of Sekai's on this Warcry actually, because he knows his thing whenever he's trying to go for a kill against Fnatic Onic. So it's the usual rotation actually for both of our teams. It's just that you have to be mindful of those ultimates and even a flicker. Specifically for Kiboy, since there's an objective later at the top lane.
Here we go, way the dragon to set it up. Yooms tries to save the day into the penalty zone. Cram flickers out. He manages to survive, and now the turnaround as Yooms finds Kyrie and Skies gets involved to take down Lupti.
Oh wow, the Brave Smite activating here for Crowd at the same time. What a setup, like counter setup play rather for Yums. That is why for them it's going to be easy to secure that turtle objective, and things are looking good here for Yoodo Red Giants.
Speaking of which, they're already getting involved in trying to steal away as many camps from Kyrie as possible. This level lead on Sakai's can be dangerous, but now that every lane has a lead, this means that Yoodo Red Giants are more inclined to steal the economy.
And definitely here for Yoodo Red Giants, we will expect Innocent to be part of the team fight later on. So for Fnatic Onic, the thing is that they have to keep space for Chewe. They have to open up that lane. But for Yoodo Red Giants, they're just continuously rotating. Even Yums on the area of Kyrie's jungle.
Yep, they're trying to take away this purple buff here. Good kick on towards Yums' side. He goes down. Lupti is able to find that kill as Sakai's quickly gets on out of there. No purple buff steal for them, and they even lose Yums in that interaction.
So that's a good take for Fnatic Onic. But yeah, for Yoodo Red Giants, they have to be mindful of those type of aggressive plays, because at the end of the day, for Fnatic Onic, they are known as a team that could penalize mispositioned play from Yoodo Red Giants. And we could see a Skype user here already for Sekai. So expect those pokes, even though he's not using his ultimate against Sans or even Chewa at the bottom lane.
Here we go, penalty zone onto Lutby one more time. Implosion as well. Here comes Skies getting involved. Oh man, this should be a guaranteed kill for Skies. As soon as he goes into his ult, Kyrie can't have a target to find, and he gets it onto Skies, waits patiently, captures him off guard, and that's going to reset the stacks.
That's a very nice play for Kyrie there. I think for Yoodo Red Giants, they weren't aware that Kyrie... Oh wait, ball at the middle lane, another kill. But yeah, it's now Fnatic Onic doing a plays against Yoodo Red Giants, which is actually a good thing. They don't have to be reacting on the plays of YRG, so they're making up their own way to somehow limit that lead. We haven't seen like a huge lead around 1.5k. It's just running around below 1,000.
I mean, they got to keep that lead as minimal as possible.
Yep.
Fnatic Onic is only going to get stronger throughout this game. Keep in mind that they still have insurance policies like CW to scale, who just bought the golden staff, by the way. So he's being very efficient, but let's take our time here. Upcoming turtle, we do see Kiboy get the kick. Oh, into the final slash, gets two. Stormy still survives, but in the back line, we see that Sakai's and Kram are trying their best to get out of that situation here. As he pulls away with the quad shadows, manages, wait, he's still alive, goes in even harder. And still, Kiboy waiting down by the edge of the quad shadows once again. Dangerous stuff by Yoodo Red Giants as Fnatic Onic reset.
And this is what's interesting for this game. Majority of the players actually use all of their ultimates, all the resources, but there's no casualty. Again, the respect is there. We saw the pokes from Sekai's. We saw the Turtle Guard being used here by Sans. And at the same time, for Yoodo Red Giants, they know how to disengage if ever they're very far from the usual perimeter of the team fights. And looking at the items, okay, so Sky Piercer here for Sekai's. We have the Blade of Heptasis for Kyrie. So we all know that this junglers will be focused more on identifying those viable targets, which are very crucial on a team fight.
Keep in mind, even with the emblems involved, you can tell that they want to do completely separate things despite being assassins. Sakai's doesn't mind having a more prolonged trade. Kyrie, it's in and out. He needs instant value. He has no time to wait for a war cry.
Yep, and actually, that's why for Sans, he went in for...
Oh, what a punish there! Fnatic Onic making sure that Sakai's needs to respect the space. And now they continue to move over towards Turtle area. Kram and Stormy looking for an angle here. Yums as well, starting to encroach on their space. Purple buff will be secured by Kyrie. Okay, Kram gets into the middle of it. Kiboy, he could go for their kick. Goes for Stormy instead, pushing him further and further away. He's going to get knocked back and he can't get out of there. Kiboy flickers away, survives, and Kyrie takes the turtle. In the meantime, Lupti as well as Kiboy guarding their borders.
Yeah, when I was about to say that I think it was very early for Kiboy for that zone out. It was very efficient for them. They turned out that taking that turtle objective, and at the same time, after doing that objective, Kyrie goes in for probably a third push at the bottom lane, which is actually good because there's no trade from Yoodo Red Giants, but the Fnatic Onic takes two, the turtle and a turret.
Yeah, I mean, that's some beautiful stuff coming in from Fnatic Onic, right? They have tempos and timings that we even here aren't seeing just yet. That's how intense intense these moment-to-moment plays are going to be made. If somebody misses an ability, it's like, you're as good as dead. You have to play mechanically perfectly.
And speaking of playing mechanically, it's Chewa actually doing effectively on the laning. So later on, we could see the gold conversion. So yeah, Innocent and even Chewa's showdown later on. Probably around 10 minutes, or yeah, 10 minutes of this game. If Fnatic Onic goes in for another aggressive play, but so far the connection of Lootpi and Kiboy is really on point. The vision from Kiboy and then a surprising final slash from Lootpi.
Yeah, man, this is a fantasy match, man. We were hoping that this was going to be the match of all times during the group stages between these two teams, but now it looks like Fnatic Onic, really, those internal issues aren't showing themselves just yet. Now we see that Yoodo Red Giants trying to control the top side of the map with both Yums and Innocent waiting to catch anybody caught slack.
You know what, for Yoodo Red Giants, they have to minimize the turrets or the vision of Fnatic Onic by pushing the another turrets mid lane.
Nice.
Sekai's again.
Oh, Sekai's again getting hit by it. The quad shadows making sure that he doesn't exactly have the most flexibility jumping into these fights, and more importantly, getting hit by the fear from Sans. It looks like Fnatic Onic evening up the score, and even wait, hold on, a final slash catches two. It looks like Prem, he's trying to zone them up, the double knock up there, coming in a triple knock up, in a matter of fact, but still no trades just yet. Kyrie now getting involved with it, will try and force the Lord out of Yoodo Red Giants' hands.
That is because of the intel that majority of the flickers are actually the ultimates of some of the players here from Yoodo Red Giants has been used. But we'll see if there's going to be a contest.
It's secured by Kyrie, and SRG are going to back away. At this point in time, 5-5, 10 minutes into this game, but with a Lord in the hands of Fnatic Onic, we're expecting to see the goal discrepancy to increase.
Yep, things are looking good for Fnatic Onic on this game. Now for Yoodo Red Giants, we don't see much yet from Innocent, probably because there's no decent setup from Yums yet. So it's just Fnatic Onic focusing on being so fast to the point that the crowd control skills of Yoodo Red Giants are not used whenever there's a team fight.
Nope, here we go. Ooh, good kick out to Cram, making sure that everything's being thrown out the wall and canceling the implosion at the same time. Fnatic Onic doesn't make a mistake. They haven't made a mistake.
Kyrie?
And Lumpy wants to get involved. It's going to be the SOD that finds the kill, a double for CW as Kyrie takes out Sekai's. Fnatic Onic owning that moniker.
Just what we said that Kiboy and the rest of the players of Fnatic Onic, is it giving Yoodo Red Giants the chance to use those ultimates? What a nice cancel on that implosion versus Hume. So we know a tie grail. If we set up some play, that's a good counterplay. But for Fnatic Onic, they know the threat of the enemy team.
Look at the momentum. Innocent nearly dying there. Despite having the Z4 strapped down, despite having the shields, they lose 2 inhibitors 11 minutes into the game. Fnatic Onic really stretching this lead.
Yeah, Fnatic Onic is on a roll. And knowing that this is just a first Lord, this is a very, very nice usage of the Lord, by the way, because most of the time it's just the first Lord. It's just the second defense of the turret.
Usually tier 2s.
Yeah, tier 2s, but for this, it's the inhibitor turret and not one, but 2. So Sans and Kiboy do a great job in terms of their synergy.
Oh, the good kick once again. Crab can't seem to get any space. He penalty zones in, but everybody is going to bite the dust. Fnatic Onic punishing. You want to fight for purple? We would take 4 kills. The Oki Shadow kill is spread out amongst all 5 of them, but really, what's the point? Sekai's has to run. It's going to get chased down by Kyrie himself. Auto. I'm going to take back my crown, Prince. Sit down. What a game this is. What a game. It's fast, it's simple, it's sweet, it's Fnatic Onic at its prime.
Yup. When Kyrie said during the interview that they're prepared against YRG on this league, on this tournament, and they're excited to face them again, this is their answer. This is the reason. Their performance was on point.
I gotta give it to them. Fnatic Onic played phenomenally here. What I thought was 50-50s, it wasn't even close. Sans just making sure that nothing was working for them. Well, Churros, what do you gotta think about? What do you think about this? What do you think about the game overall?
I have a lot to say. I was like sitting here just watching the game with you guys, and every single time YRG makes a move, I was like, oh, flip my mic up and all that. That was like just like touching like Chantal was like pushing her away because like there's a huge thing happening because every single fight really did matter at the end of the day. I forgot a couple of things to say, and the first is like how the Lord dance has changed, because the way that YRG actually lost that match was that they like to play a 4-1 kind of composition, putting the early game into mid game, putting Innocent on the off lane, trying to get a 1-to-1 matchup against that Moskov, against Chelway. But at the end of the day, in the Lord fight, it was because you don't have that frontline tank on the utility junglers, you don't have the Fredrins and the Barats anymore, you need to be able to utilize your tanks and your basically your EXP lanes to try to start off that fight, try to zone everything out before the assassins really come in. In this game, YRG was a little bit too impatient because of the way that Sakai likes to come in, jump in once the implosion has been thrown. It was a little bit too trigger happy, and he thinks that he's a little bit too overconfident on that matchup. But one match point away, man. And Fnatic Onic has to be feeling good.
I mean, I'm sure they're feeling good, but better yet, I think most of the time when we're expecting that big engagement coming in from Yums, he gets cancelled out by Sans like rather consistently.
Yeah, and at the same time, even the usage of Kiboy's Shunpo, right? There are many instances wherein he uses the Shunpo and then goes in for the kick so that there's no counter crowd control against him. So it was a pretty fast game actually for Fnatic Onic. I was expecting that this is gonna be like a 20-minute game or not lower than 15. Because mechanically speaking, these players are really good. But yeah, for Fnatic Onic, they just know that they have to counter Yums and even Cram's hero.
I just want to point out that Sakai actually went for the Skypiercer first item. It could be a really good item in the first early stage of the game if you are able to maintain your kills. But if you're constantly dying and you know that Fnatic Onic is constantly hyper focusing on you, whenever you jump in, you get stunned up, knocked up, and then you get deleted from the game. You have to consider selling that item and go for a little bit more defensive or a more sustainable form of damage, because Skypiercer, yes, the passive is good, but if you can't build up those stacks, the damage is not going to show.
I mean, as much as the damage doesn't show, I felt like because he was bought so early on into the game, you're just sacrificing stats, right? Which inevitably like slows down your farm, it slows down every other aspect in the game. You might as well just hold on to it until you've got the other items. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but there's a reason why a lot of the pro teams are not building Skypiercers anymore. We've seen a lot of other pro teams, like we think like the Skypiercer is a broken item,
like
meta
item.
or not. So this segment we want to bring in because like a lot of like typical public players, they like to build their Skypiercers in the early game and just snowball their way through. But you're playing a pro match with a team that you kind of have your research done on, you studied on, and you want to be able to play or sustain through that long game. So Sakai's with a Skypiercer, yes, on the Hayabusa it does very well, but you have to get your team together to be able to help you hyper funnel that Skypiercer so that you can get that 12% execute.
But honestly, these kills only come when you have the setup. And looking at the draft from Fnatic Onic, I've now just noticed that 4 out of the 5 members have a means to actually cancel these engages.
And I think for Sakai's target all throughout was Sans, but because of the formation of Fnatic Onic, there's no way for him to penetrate the back lane. It's a lot easier for the Hayabusa, right? But because of the formation here, there's no entry point for the Hayabusa. And even looking at the golden XP grab, it was just Fnatic Onic limiting the resources of Sakai's and the rest of Yoodo Red Giants.
And this being said...